All right, it's Richard MacInnis here with Volocian Studios. I'm talking today with Zachary Lucky. How are you today?
Doing great, man. How are you doing today, Richard?
I'm very good. For those that don't know, where are you from and how did you get into music as a career?
Oh, that's a huge question. Start with the basics. I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan originally, but I reside in Orillia, Ontario now, of all places. How I got from Saskatoon to here, well, that's a long story, but my entrance into music started off fairly young. In high school, I played in a lot of different bands in and around Saskatoon, from heavier music to some more pop-oriented music. Eventually, I guess wanting to get out on the road and do some touring led me to writing some solo songs on an acoustic guitar, and so that solo foray into music led to some kind of folk music, which has now brought me around to this sort of singer-songwriter country folk realm that I exist in now.
Oh, that's excellent. I really like what you're doing now. You said you're from Saskatchewan. How has that affected the songs you write?
When you're an artist based in Saskatchewan, it's a really interesting environment to be in, because you're so far from everything else. You know, you're 6 hours from Edmonton and 9 from Winnipeg, and who wants to go to either of those places?
Word.
You know, you're sort of just out there on your own, and so you're looking around you for inspiration. The scene in Saskatoon, although to be honest, I've been removed from it for a couple of years now. It was, and I'm sure it still is incredibly vibrant, and beyond inspiring. You know, there's a lot of amazing art and music that's coming out of Saskatoon and Regina, especially Regina. I love the bands in Regina. It's such a cool scene.
Yeah, they've got a lot of good stuff going on.
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, and every time I go there, I leave feeling like, man, I wish I was here. I wish I was a part of this on the daily, you know.
Word.
And so I guess in that sense, being from Saskatchewan, being an artist from Saskatchewan, it's sort of insular, you know, because you're sort of stuck out there and you don't really have much to look at other than what's right around you, you know. And for me, a lot of people, you know, I feel like it's kind of split in half. Half people they want to leave Saskatchewan, you know, they're like, oh, I can't believe I'm stuck out here in the middle of nowhere, and I just can't wait to get to Montreal or Toronto or Vancouver or wherever that is. But for me, I really fell in love with Saskatchewan. The older I got, the more I loved it. And so I took a lot of inspiration from, you know, just the countryside and those vast prairie skies and so on and so forth, you know.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of room to find yourself out here. How has your songwriting changed, rather, since you've moved? Are you writing about different topics now, or your sound changed at all?
It's hard, you know, when you're so close to your writing and your art, it's hard to tell if it's changed. I can't speak to that. I think I've progressed as an artist. I feel like my songwriting is getting a little more intentional. I think I'm maybe digging a little bit deeper than I used to, but I think that's just coming with time. You know, I think that would have happened in Saskatchewan as well. It's just a part of maturing and growing as an artist, and the more I'm reading now, the more I want every part of a song, every word of a song to actually, you know, to be 100%, to really mean something and to play a part in the bigger picture of a song. What was the second half of your question? You asked me something else there.
Oh, I was asking you how your move had affected your songwriting, but you spoke to, I guess, just growth as a musician in general, or as a songwriter in general. And certainly that was my first thought on listening to your album, is that it's very mature sounding. I really like that. It sounds very grown up. Who were your main musical influences on Everywhere a Man Can Be? That's your new album, correct?
That is the latest record, yeah. Everywhere a Man Can Be. What was I listening to? Oh, man, that's such a hard question. I always when I'm listening to music on, a long drive or something, I'll, you know, obviously just be listening to the stuff that I'm really into, and I'll be like, okay, when an interviewer asks me what I'm really into, I have to tell them that this is the band or this is the artist, this is the record that's inspiring me. To be honest, that record it's coming up on, well, we recorded it over a year ago, probably close to 2 years ago. And so I'm drawing a blank on the exact records I was listening to at that point. Maybe David Rollins' Machine might have been one. Do you know the compilation Native North America?
No, I haven't heard that.
Okay, you need to listen to that. It's incredible. It's Light in the Attic Records put it out. I couldn't tell you, but it's a few years ago now. And it's a compilation of First Nations artists, kind of 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s folk and country rock music. And it's guys like Willie Dunn, Willie Thrasher, all these great songwriters and artists who happen to be First Nations. But it's an incredible record, man. That music is really, really powerful. And I'm remembering I was on tour in 2014, so the record must have come out around 2014. And my guitarist at the time, Chris Lightholm, who is in Snake River and was in The Lonesome Weekends, he's an incredible guy, Regina guy. He handed me this record, or I guess more so like put it on like a little memory stick and was like, listen to this record. And I never really got into it at the point. But man, that record, yeah, I listened to that a ton, and it just blew my mind and totally made me rethink songwriting and what kind of music I wanted to be making. I know when we went into the studio, we were listening to like some 70s Gordon Lightfoot and kind of going, oh, this is kind of vibey, you know?
Yeah, totally.
That's something we were listening to, and maybe trying to pull a bit of inspiration from that. Yeah, that's sort of the realm that I was coming from, I think. But I strongly remember listening to Native North America a ton before we made that record, and letting that influence me in the writing process. So
I'll definitely check that out, and maybe we'll throw that up for a spin on a radio station too.
Totally.
Thanks for the recommendation. You're on tour right now. Tell us about that.
Yeah, no, we're just about to begin. Well, it's kind of, I feel like I've been on tour like all year. Within the past couple of years, this has definitely been the busiest I have been since becoming a father and moving out here to Ontario. We've been going at it all year and had a busy summer, probably like 6 or 7 or 8 different festivals across this country, including Dawson City Music Fest, among others. It was a great one. And getting ready to head out west right now. Tour starts at the end of the month, and we'll be playing shows all around Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Manitoba. I'm teaming up with my old pedal steel player from Regina for this one, Ian Cameron. He's a great guy, and it doesn't stop then. I'll be back out west come November for a 12-date house concert tour solely in Manitoba.
Oh, that's cool.
It's going to be crazy, yeah. 2.5 weeks in Manitoba, all these little towns, which should be a lot of fun.
All right. For those of our local listeners here, that's on the Friday, September 29th. You're playing here at the Underground Cafe in Saskatoon.
That's true. Yeah.
You said you're a new father. I didn't have that on my questions list, but talk about that if you don't mind. How does that change your life as a songwriter? I know that it made a huge impact on my life as a songwriter, so I'm sure you have a similar story.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying, and they've been saying, she's like almost 2.5 now. Everybody's going like, yo, you're going to be so inspired by your kid, and it's true. I'm like inspired, but not necessarily as a songwriter, at least not yet. You can't deny that having kids completely changes your life. It's the most incredible thing. And to be honest, man, like it's really made me kind of put music in the back seat a bit. Not that I mean, this is still what I do for a living. I'm doing it all the time. I'm gone a lot, but I don't give it the weight that I used to, you know?
Yeah, some things are more important.
Yeah, it's not nearly as important as your family is, you know, and so it's made me kind of look at things. It's made me want to be more intentional with what I'm doing, you know, as a songwriter and as a touring artist. You know, when I leave home, it has to make sense. It's got to be worth it, and because I don't like leaving. I used to love leaving because I had no reason to go home, you know, and now that I have a reason not to go, it's a lot tougher, especially the older they get, you know, but. No, she's really opened up my eyes, and when you start seeing life through a child's eyes, and yeah, it's completely different. You figure out how like old and jaded and like grumpy you are, you know.
That's true.
Yeah, it's good. You know, she's completely inspiring. I haven't like written her album yet, but maybe someday that'll happen. Maybe it won't happen. Who knows? I hope that someday her and me write some records.
That's what I was going to say. That's what the parent always wishes for, the co-write.
Oh, yeah. No, she's totally made for the stage, man. Some of the festivals we did this year, she would just like totally stage dive my workshops every chance she got, you know, and was always trying to run up on the main stage. And oh god, it was great.
That's
excellent. So much fun.
Is there anything else you wanted to say to the folks in Internet Land?
Internet Land. Well, yeah, Everywhere a Man Can Be is almost a year old. If you haven't heard it, I would say please go check it out. I'm really proud of that record. It's I really think the songs are solid. The band is incredible on the album, and I'm super excited to come back out west to Saskatoon, Regina, and all around the western provinces to come play these songs for you again. Awesome.
Well, everybody come check out Zachary Lucky at the Underground Cafe. Is that what it's called? Sorry, I'm just checking my calendar.
It's totally called, yeah.
The Underground Cafe on Friday, September 29th in Saskatoon. And they're on the rest of his tour. He's always touring around. You can hear this clip and more at Volocian.com.
Town to town, road to road, door to door, and coast to coast. I've been everywhere a man can be. From St. John's in Newfoundland to Prince Edward's Copper Sand and Nova Scotia in the spring. Alberta and Saskatchewan were two of my favorite ones. Was way out there I cut my teeth. All around Ontario, where I learned all I know. I lived in New Brunswick by the sea. Up in the parkland, where I finally took a stand. I was living reckless, riding free. Winter finally came and went. I packed a car and headed west. Next day I woke up in BC. I was headed east, the St. Lawrence calling me, and I was sleeping beneath the prairie stars. I was dreaming of the wind, all the places that I've been. I was wishing it would blow you back to me. place I haven't been is our great white Northland. I know someday there I'll be. Town to town, road to road, door to door, coast to coast. I've been everywhere a man can be. I've been everywhere a man can be.